Hey everybody, it's me, Joe, back in Supreme League of Patriots. This is episode 2, but if you're watching this on YouTube later, it's just going to say part 3. I'm going to go through the tutorial real quick, see if it's different than the first episode, because the tutorial was actually pretty funny. If it's the same thing, we'll skip that. Oh yes.
You've caught me rather by surprise. I wasn't expecting you until later, so the game...
Okay, this is the same thing. Kind of hoping to be something new, but it's not. Alright, not that I don't like the noise that's out of place, but it is very loud. Okay.
What do you mean he's got dissociative identity disorder?
I've been explaining it for the past 15 minutes. If you weren't following me, why didn't you say something before?
Oh no, I'm following fine. It just seemed like a convenient time to summarise everything in a few short sentences. Know what I mean?
Well, Kyle is suffering from a rare psychological disorder, characterized by the presence of 2 distinct personalities. Kyle's own personality has been subjugated by his Purple Patriot alter ego. The Kyle persona is still present, and at moments of extreme relaxation, he does revert to it. However, the Purple Patriot persona remains dominant and returns whenever he gets excited, scared, or anxious.
So he's 2 drachmas short of a euro then?
He's actually very lucid, and when the Kyle persona takes control, he has all of the personality traits and all of the memories of Kyle. It will be exactly like talking to your friend. When the Purple Patriot persona is dominant, he believes that Kyle does not exist, and is merely a secret identity he has created in order to prevent his superhero identity being discovered.
Have you tried pointing out that anyone who was inventing a secret identity would come up with an alter ego with a job and fashion sense?
Unfortunately, DID patients are typically immune to reason.
A bit like Tea Party supporters. Got it.
Alright, so we are back in the good old office. Okay, hold on. Like, why is this music so freaking loud? The voice we can turn off. The effects are fine. Alright, so let's see here. Do we just talk to Julie, or should we, like, click and look at everything? Let's just talk to Julie.
So what kind of treatment regime is available for Kyle?
Unfortunately, there's very little consensus on treatment for DID. There are a range of different psychotherapy options available, but recovery can be a long and complicated process.
We're missing a trick here, aren't we?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I'm not a medical man, but I've watched enough TV to know that all we have to do is just hit him on the head again and his memory will come back. What?
Kyle's psychological breakdown wasn't actually caused by the repeated head injuries.
It must have been. I saw this trope coming a mile away.
Kyle's skull is incredibly thick and amazingly resilient. Despite all of the head impacts, his brain didn't receive any physical trauma whatsoever.
Well, what happened to him then?
Well, we think it might have been all the painkillers I gave him every time he banged his head. Turns out they had some side effects we didn't know about.
Well, that's charming, innit? Not content with trying to have him bumped off every time he bumped his head, now you've given him multiple personalities. Anything else you'd like to do to him while you've got him in the hospital? Perhaps a quick sex change operation. Although, come to think of it, if he had breasts, he'd never leave the apartment.
Naturally, the studio are extremely distressed at the undesirable and completely unpredictable consequences of taking those painkillers.
The studio? What's the studio got to do with any of this?
I'm contracted by the studio. As such, they are offering a substantial amount of compensation to help Kyle's rehabilitation and recovery.
How substantial?
$10 million.
Oh, well, that's not too... How much?
Of course, he would have to sign a waiver indicating that he doesn't hold the studio responsible for any lapses in our usual standards of medical care he may have experienced during his visit.
Yeah, well, that's no problem. We all make mistakes, don't we? Where do I have to sign?
The production company has offices in Chelsea. They'll take care of all the paperwork for you.
Just no hesitation on the spring. Just, I'll take $10 million.
How's Kyle doing?
Physically, he's very well. In fact, he's kind of a lot better than normal.
Not sure I follow, love.
Well, his psychological condition appears to have manifested itself through some kind of faith-based physical augmentation.
I like to think I'm an intelligent chap, but you might have to dumb that down a little bit. Imagine you're talking to Kyle. Well, not quite that dumb, somewhere in between.
When his purple patriot persona is ascendant, he believes he has superpowers. He believes that he has super strength, that he can fly, and that he has an uncanny ability to look good in spandex.
Yeah, so we have to be careful he doesn't do anything stupid like try to stop a speeding juggernaut or jump off a high building.
Well, actually, no. He really is exhibiting those powers.
What?
Did you just tell me that Kyle can fly? Have you been sucking on a broken biro?
You can fly?
It's quite unusual, I'll admit. But it seems that his sense of self-belief is so strong that his body's actually
What?
responding.
So technically, Kyle is now a superhero.
I suppose technically that's true, but...
So in that case, your grounds for holding him have gone. You can't claim he's delusional if he really has the powers he thinks he has.
We're working on the assumption that his superpowers are just the physical manifestation of his psychological condition.
So basically, you're manipulating the diagnosis to keep hold of him as long as possible.
What a strange thing to suggest.
Is he still raving that immigrants, homosexuals and women are destroying America?
We've managed to calm him down a little.
You mean you've pumped him full of horse tranquilizers, don't you?
Of course not. That would be unethical. And horse tranquilizers are not even authorized for use on humans. How dare you?
Alright, sorry.
Although, when you visit him, you may want to take along a pocket full of sugar cubes. He loves them.
Him from raving like a madman?
Not entirely. He still insists on calling me either Toots or Dollface. And I won't even begin to tell you what he calls Dr. Sangupta.
I do apologise for him. He's not normally like that at all. He's a very tolerant person when he's Kyle, even if only because he's too lazy to be intolerant.
It may be a side effect of the psychosis. He believes the Purple Patriot feels a huge sense of patriotism. That patriotism may be driving him to have these negative emotions.
Can I visit him? They let me stay with him for a couple of hours when we was taken to the hospital, but after that they gave me the bum's rush.
I'm sorry, we don't permit visitors during the initial evaluation phase. It interferes with the patient's recovery.
How long does the evaluation phase last?
Depends how much insurance he's got.
Unless it was ever given away as part of the Happy Meal, I'd wager he has none whatsoever.
In this case, the studio is picking up the bill. They have a lot of insurance.
You're really milking this for all it's worth, aren't you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I need a minute to think about this.
Sure, I'm on the clock.
Alright, so I feel like doing that last one might end this. So I just want to kind of take a look around.
Nurse Julie did come all the way across town to update me on Kyle's condition. It'd be a bit rude to start farting about with the furniture while she's waiting. Plus, I've got a nasty feeling she's charging me by the minute. Nurse...
Okay.
Nurse Julie...
You didn't even go to Kyle's room.
No.
Okay. Well, I tried. Click on everything, making sure I didn't lose anything.
Well, I'm sure you have lots to do. Patients won't just kill themselves.
I should get back to the hospital. We've scheduled Kyle for a series of X-rays this afternoon.
And these X-rays might give some indication of the nature of his condition, might they?
I guess they might. We just got a new X-ray machine. It's a shame not to use it, especially when the studio's picking up the tab.
It's no wonder everyone's going to Cuba to get medical treatment these days. There's less corruption over there.
Thanks, Obama. That's the name of the achievement. Oh my gosh. Alright. What task is added? There's a loud banging noise coming from somewhere nearby. It sounds urgent, so you better find out where it's coming from. Oh, okay. So that was...
I can't leave the apartment with that infernal banging going on. It might be the woman from 12B has finally tracked down where all her missing undergarments have got to. Normally I'd be all over it, but there's something thumping on the window. Since we're on the 3rd floor of a tenement building, I'm going to assume it's urgent.
Oh.
No.
Well.
We typically keep the blinds closed. Not being able to get any sunlight is a small price to pay for not being able to see the decaying wasteland that we laughingly refer to as our neighbourhood. There's a dull thumping sound coming from outside.
If you remember too, when you open up this window, there's freaking like a brick wall.
I suppose there's no alternative.
That is true. That is true, Mel.
What the hell are you doing out there?
If I break the window, old chum, I fear we would lose our security deposit.
There's something stuck on the window that a chamois leather and a bottle of Windoline is not going to remove.
No rush, old friend. But I am starting to get a cramp.
As interesting as that would ordinarily be, I really need to do something about the fat purple man clinging to our window ledge and the last remaining shreds of his sanity.
I would be scared.
How exactly are we going to do this?
Very carefully, if I get any say in the matter.
Alright, well hold on tight because it rotates.
I know that. Get on with it already.
Well, that's convenient.
I thought you were still in the hospital.
I sneaked out while Nurse Julie was doing her rounds.
Didn't anyone notice the empty bed?
I'd left a neat little pile under the sheets.
Good idea. You might not have time to go later.
Okay, we're playing as Patriot now. Let's do our good old point-and-click adventure.
When you can fly, the window is just as convenient as the door.
And when the landlord comes looking for the rent, it's even more convenient.
Absolutely. I don't particularly feel the urge right now.
You're talking about flying out of it, right?
Of course.
Just checking, because there was that week the toilet got clogged and you used to...
Nothing was further from my mind.
Just as well. You haven't got to fly in that suit.
Oh, God, you're right.
It's my desktop PC. It has an i7 quad-core CPU, 16 gigabytes of DDR3, and a 100 gig solid-state drive combined with a RAID 0 Twin HD setup. Thanks to a 100 meg per second fibre hookup and state-of-the-art software I acquired while studying at MIT, there's virtually nothing this computer can't do.
We use it for games and porn.
And the Purple Patriot is still just Kyle.
Do you really think now is a good time to play Corridor Shooter 2000? It's my driver's license.
When did you start carrying that around with you? You hardly ever drive.
Do you have any idea how humiliating it is to be a superhero and get turned away buying lottery tickets? It says here that former Arsenal footballer Thierry Henry is recovering in hospital after being hit by a Renault Clio while crossing the road.
I wonder what the French for "ah" is. Yeah, that's not actually a mobile, mate.
It doesn't have a cord.
It's a cordless phone.
So it is a mobile phone!
Sure, mate. It's a mobile phone that stops working as soon as you get out of the apartment.
Aha! So, better reception than I get with Swift?
You can use my mobile if you like. I'll add it to the inventory.
Thanks, Mal.
It's my mobile phone. It has a 20 megapixel camera, fingerprint scanner, heart rate monitor, a 3D screen, and I think it's possible to make phone calls with it.
Let's roll, trusted associate!
Just this one time, can we be remotely organised? Let's think through this whole superhero caper and make a list of everything we need to get you up and running.
I suppose that is good advice. I'll start organizing my thoughts into some kind of order.
Great. Try to keep all the ones involving voices urging you to kill on one side.
Might as well just go in every... I like clicking on everything, seeing every little detail we can get.
I still think it's jingoistic to have the stars and stripes over your bed.
It's a symbol of freedom.
2 million rednecks beg to differ.
Oh, well, it looks like I'm taking the flag.
I don't really want to take the flag with me. Besides, it appears to be stuck in one corner.
What do you mean, stuck?
I don't know. Hey, what do you know? I taped my passport to the back of the flag with gaffer tape.
I cannot believe how literal you've become since you changed. I'm never going to ask you for a knob of butter as long as I live.
It's my boy wonder, Melvin.
Excuse you? I am nobody's boy wonder, pal.
Of course, Melvin, but I just...
Let's get one thing straight, alright? And straight is the operative word here. I do not wear tights.
Then what will I call you?
Just think of me as technical support.
Alright, let's talk to Melvin. 'Cause I feel like if I just start
We
clicking
should
on
really
things-
start planning our next move, Melvin.
That's easy. Go to the studio, collect your check, and start living on Easy Street.
My check? What check?
Didn't Nurse Julie tell you? The studio are offering you $10 million in compensation for your accidents. We can buy a nice penthouse apartment in Columbus Circle and spend all day watching Mexican soap operas and eating pretzels in our underpants.
Isn't that pretty much what we do now?
Yeah, but now we'll be able to afford Auntie Anne's pretzels.
Dear God!
Sorry, old friend, but I can't retire while crime stalks the streets of New York.
We'll still have plenty of money. We can donate to worthy charities like domestic abuse, animal welfare, and the campaign to create a new ending for Mass Effect 3. We'll still have our principles, we just won't have to get off our asses to do anything about them.
I'm sorry, Melvin. My mind is made up. We're going to use that money to fight crime.
Couldn't we use it to fight something less prevalent, like common sense?
Jammy Dodger,
Yeah.
retract fully when bathing. I need help, old chum.
You know I'm not a qualified psychotherapist, right? Alright, what do you need?
I'm having a spot of bother identifying the key elements of establishing us as a crack team of superheroes, old chum.
Well, it was your idea.
I know, but I'm more of a concepts guy. I prefer to leave the implementation to people more suited to the task.
In other words, you come up with the harebrained ideas and some other mug, presumably me, has to figure out the details.
I'm delighted we're on the same wavelength, old friend.
Yes, we'll tune your dial back a bit there, Dr. Laura. I don't mind helping you organise this, but I'm not doing all the work. You tell me what you think a superhero team needs, and I'll organise it into some kind of plan.
Good enough. Thanks, faithful assistant. I'm having...
Okay, this is the thing.
Yeah,
I don't think I need any further assistance, old friend.
I'm glad to hear it. Helping you can be very tiring.
We should really start planning our next move, Melvin.
There's a lot there. Well,
I'm going to need money to establish us as a genuine team of superheroes.
Don't look at me, I'm Brassic.
Then you should get a job and earn your way in society. That's the American way.
Illegal immigrant, remember?
Ah, yes. Normally I'd be vehemently opposed to such a thing.
Well, you are a Republican.
But I'll make an exception for you, since you're my friend, and you paid my share of the rent this month.
Well, you are a Republican.
we need a motto.
We need some kind of motto or slogan. This is America. You're nothing if you don't have a catchy slogan.
If you say by the power of Grayskull one more time, I'm gonna twat you with something.
No, I'm past that. Wait. Thunder! Thunder!
No! Do you have a deep-seated compulsion to make intellectual property lawyers rich or something?
I need a secret identity.
You've already got a real identity. You're Kyle Keever, and you're a janitor at the 125th Precinct.
Perfect!
What? Aren't you superheroes usually journalists, scientists, or creepy billionaires in your spare time? I don't think sweeping floors and washing windows is going to be very helpful in your war on crime.
Are you kidding? Police janitor is like the perfect alter ego for a superhero. Inside information on major crimes, you can look up criminals in the FBI database, you even get advance notice if the police are closing in on your secret identity. Some of the world's greatest superheroes have been police janitors.
Name one that isn't Hong Kong Phooey.
Shut up!
Hong Kong food. Number one superhero.
I'm going to need a license.
Why? Are you going breakdancing in Central Park again?
No, I'm serious. To be a superhero in New York, you have to have a license.
Really? Well, those are probably issued by NYPD. Ask Sam if she can help you.
Lieutenant Griffith from work? I'd have to make sure she didn't recognize me in my costume.
Your own grandmother wouldn't recognise you in that get-up.
My grandmother never recognizes me. She has cataracts.
That's not why she doesn't recognise you.
I need a Patriot mobile. Some kind of immensely powerful half-tank, half-sports car with an array of high-tech weaponry.
We could stake out the parking lot at a monster trucks rally.
Really?
No, you div. That sort of vehicle is custom built.
I need a kryptonite.
I'm not surprised. You eat junk food all day long.
No, I mean a weakness. Every superhero has a weakness.
Shouldn't we keep looking for your strengths before we start looking for weaknesses?
We need to find my weakness so we can guard against it. Superman was always running into trouble with kryptonite.
Yeah, for a substance which didn't exist on Earth, there sure was a lot of that bloody stuff going around. Every 2-bit bank robber or jewellery thief seemed to stumble across a fragment of his former planet as they were eating their Wheaties.
Wait, I thought of a weakness.
Okay, what is it?
Does it have to go to the bathroom?
Go ahead. Okay, whisper it.
This is kind of weird with him being all the way over there and him being over there.
That's really more of a predilection than a weakness, mate. Fair enough, mate. If we run into any supervillains whose battle cry is "Yiff," we'll just get you into a cold shower and send for reinforcements.
Oh, crap.
You know, if you're gonna be my boy wonder...
Assistant.
Right. Assistant. Still, you're going to need superpowers.
What for? I'm not doing any fighting. I'm a conscientious objector.
Oh, what?
You know, coward.
That's definitely from
I
Futurama.
guess we can't all be fighters. Some of us are thinkers and some of us are creators.
And some of us are bonkers.
You got that right.
I'm quite the whiz with computers and electronics, if I do say so myself. Surely that's enough to be useful.
We'll try to keep you out of harm's way, old chum. But you really ought to have a superpower in case things get rough. We could always get you superpowers by exposing you to dangerous levels of radiation.
See, the thing about that is I don't actually want to be exposed to dangerous levels of radiation.
You really should have said something before we bought that Ukrainian army's surplus space heater. What about if we just blind you with acid?
And all my other senses will develop to compensate.
That too!
Wait, why were you suggesting blinding me with acid if you hadn't thought of my other senses compensating?
I have a lot of surplus acid that's going to waste. What about bionic eyes which have machine guns in them?
You can't just make up new superpowers. Haven't you ever read a comic book? Superpowers have to have some correlation with a base power, background or artifact. Like Green Lantern's ring?
Dude, I've never seen him with his pants down. I've run out of good ideas.
You did that several minutes ago if you ask me.
We should look into corporate sponsorship. With the right sponsors, we could get all our equipment paid for.
Screw corporate sponsorship. It's bad enough that every friggin' politician's in the pocket of an oil company, a multinational bank, or a high-class brothel without superheroes joining the gravy train.
But
Besides, who the hell's gonna sponsor you looking like that? Ribena? Welch's?
we need to have a crime cave, a base of operations for all of our crime fighting.
We live in the middle of a metropolis. There tend not to be a lot of caves in big cities. They don't command much in the way of rent.
It doesn't have to be a cave exactly. Maybe just a big hole in the middle of nowhere.
What, like Hunt's Point, you mean?
Perhaps not. We'd get out there ready to fight crime and find the Patriot mobile up on bricks. We should have a pet with superpowers.
The super didn't like it when you had angelfish. What's he gonna say if you get a Rottweiler with laser vision?
It doesn't have to be a Rottweiler. It could be any kind of animal.
Such as?
What about a dog with super strength? Then it needn't be an aggressive breed.
Yeah, perfect. The first time he humps my leg, I spend 3 weeks in traction.
Super smell, then.
And when he sniffs my crotch, I get an instant circumcision.
Oh, right. The crotch thing. I've got it! A panther with invisibility! That would be the ultimate weapon.
Great. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? You've got a highly strung, savage beast roaming the apartment, and you have no idea when you're about to step on the bugger's tail.
Okay, there's a few kinks in the plan we'd have to work out.
Remind me exactly how you imbue a pet with invisibility?
3 hours in a bath of chromatic oil.
Right. You need to keep an animal which has a pathological fear of water in a bath for 3 hours. And you're the guy who got severe lacerations and third-degree burns when you tried to bath your girlfriend's dachshund.
It's so obvious! We should get a mutant alligator. The sewers of New York are supposed to be full of them.
The sewers of New York are full of lots of things, but I wouldn't recommend keeping them in the bath.
No burglar would ever come into our apartment if we had a mutant alligator guarding it.
Neither would I. Although it would be interesting when that miserable old bark from downstairs came up to complain about the noise.
Oh, I give up.
Thank heavens for that.
I really need some kind of battle cry, don't you think?
I already suggested one.
I'm a hemophiliac is not a battle cry, my friend.
Maybe not, but it's effective. It distracts them just long enough that you can kick them in the nuts.
That's not a very noble or honorable way to fight, old friend.
There's nothing honourable about getting 7 shades of crap kicked out of you. Winning is all the honour I need.
I want people to wonder about me.
In an all-purple skin-tight figure-hugging lycra leotard, people are guaranteed to be wondering about you.
No. I want to be a man of mystery. I want to be enigmatic.
I think you mean enigmatic, unless you mean you want to give people the shits, which, come to think of it, is a much more realistic goal for you.
Let's talk about something else.
Fine by me.
Do you know any real estate agents, old friend?
Is this another joke about my boring social life?
Nothing was further from my mind, old chum. Although I will make a note of it for later. I just need the services of a good realtor.
Have you tried the internet?
Every time I try to get to a website, I end up with a page full of pornographic images.
2.5 million porno websites out there, and every single person who ever ends up at one did so accidentally. We'll have to go back to the apartment so we can use my computer.
We are at the front. Oh.
I need to find a used car salesman urgently, old friend.
I know it's relaxing to pound on a used car salesman when you're super stressed, but it's very much frowned upon in certain social circles.
No, I actually need to buy a car from someone.
You're gonna try to buy a superhero vehicle from a used car salesman? I have horrible visions of you tootling around town in a pimped out Prius with a chrome spoiler and mag wheels.
Not at all, old chum. I want to do this properly.
Have you tried the internet? We'll have to go back to the apartment.
What's my most pressing objective just now, do you think?
At the risk of sounding mercenary, I'd say you need to get your hands on some dosh.
What?
Money.
Yes, money does seem to be necessary for many of the things we need to do in order to establish ourselves as superheroes.
Unavoidable consequence of living in a capitalist country, mate.
I thought America was a republic.
Funny, that's what your founding fathers thought too.
I need help, old chum. How can I possibly get the money we need to set up as a superhero team?
Are you morally opposed to stealing money?
I am a card-carrying member of the Republican Party. I have to uphold my party's core principles.
So, yes or no?
I might get caught. Better not chance it.
Then perhaps you should collect that compensation check from the studio.
The studio wants to pay me compensation?
Yeah, on account of your brain being turned to mush by all the painkillers their psychotic nurse gave you.
What? That treatment simply unleashed the inner me. Thanks to Nurse Julie, I've become the hero I was destined to be.
You say tomato, I say brain damage.
I'm drawing a blank on finding a suitable site for our crime cave, old friend.
When I want to find something, I use the internet.
Isn't that full of pedophiles and terrorists?
Have you been reading the Daily Mail again?
I like to keep up on what's happening in the colonies.
Britain's never been a colony of the USA, mate.
Ha! Not yet. Being a superhero without a license isn't permitted.
Running through the streets of Manhattan with your underwear on top of your clothes screaming, "Stop that nuclear warlord," is illegal? What kind of country is this?
Fear not. If I can obtain the appropriate license, I shall once again be able to practice superheroics legally.
Have a word with Sam then. Sorry, I mean Lieutenant Griffith. She'll be able to help.
But she hates Kyle. Or me. Whichever way you look at it.
Go in costume then. She won't recognise you.
I won't be taken seriously as a superhero without a proper Patriot mobile, old chum.
Don't you think you're setting yourself an impossibly ambitious target by wanting to be taken seriously, mate?
Look.
Alright, fine. Why don't you use the computer to look on the internet?
I can't get past the child protection filter that came pre-installed on it.
Honestly, Microsoft keeps striving to make more idiot-proof operating systems, but the universe is similarly striving to make better idiots.
I don't think I need any further assistance, old friend.
I'm glad to hear it. Helping you can be very tiring.
Okay, so what I'm getting from so far is...
That's all for now, old chum.
So this is one of those... So the first episode was kind of linear. This one I feel is going to be more like we have a list of objectives to complete, and we can kind of... And we might not be able to... Maybe we could do them in any order, or maybe it's like... You know, maybe in order to do one thing, we gotta do something else, but...
It's where I keep my knickknacks.
I always assumed you wore boxers. Don't open it. The world is not ready for the contents of your underwear drawer. I was honestly expecting to see spirits escaping.
Along with various undergarments, I always keep a digital camera in my bedside table.
You dirty boy.
I suppose this camera's worth taking.
I've played this game before. There's no batteries in it.
No, actually, it's fully charged.
Blimey, another cliché successfully avoided.
Alright.
It's one of my heroes. He was an NRA spokesman and a fine actor.
I just don't see how encouraging people to own guns can possibly help anything.
It's every American's constitutional right to bear arms.
Are you sure the Founding Fathers weren't just given permission to wear short sleeves?
I'm not taking it down. He's an American hero.
I won't say anything bad about the guy, because he's not here to defend himself. However, in England, not even the police are allowed to carry guns, and England is a very safe country.
Especially if you're a criminal with a gun. You know, in 2007, 50% more Americans were killed by automobiles than guns. I understand that automobiles are legal to purchase almost anywhere in the world.
This is true, but they're much harder to smuggle onto a plane in your hand luggage. Not a big fan of whales, then?
On the contrary, they taste great.
You eat them?
Yes, preachy McNag. I eat them, but I believe in only consuming seafood from renewable stocks. That's why I only eat the line-caught variety.
What did he get?
It wouldn't have as much impact in my pocket.
It wouldn't have much of a view either.
It's where I keep all my clothes which don't need hanging.
None of your clothes need hanging. You never iron anything.
That's why the closet is virtually empty. I can't get changed without transforming back into Kyle.
Plus, you have a dozen identical pairs of track pants. There's no point in changing.
I'd prefer not to talk about it. Not a chance. I'd never recapture all of them if they got out.
What?
It's my closet. I don't really use it to store clothing. I just keep a few personal items in it.
Are we really going to resist the temptation to make some kind of closet-based gag?
Apparently. It's stuck again.
I've never known anyone with more of a knack for getting locks jammed than you.
At least this time, I'm on the outside of it.
Too bloody right. That night I spent feeding you chili con carne through the closet keyhole has to go down as one of the messiest nights of my life.
In hindsight, it probably wasn't the wisest meal to eat when you have a locked door between you and the bathroom. It came with the apartment. I don't want to upset the super by moving it around.
If he didn't kick us out when you installed a skylight in your bedroom, I don't think he's going to start now.
I still don't see why he was so upset about the skylight. I paid for it myself, and I had the job done by a professional tradesman.
You do know why he was upset. The woman upstairs kept falling through the 6-foot hole in her bathroom floor.
Alright.
Do you really think now is a good time to play Corridor Shooter 2000?
For your information, I'm looking up commercial real estate agents.
Now I feel like an ass.
That synergizes very well with how you look in that costume.
Find anything?
There's only one that deals in the sort of high-end commercial properties you'd want for a crime cave.
Does it have to be commercial?
Unless you plan on getting the Patriot mobile up a narrow stairwell to the 3rd floor of a brownstone in Spanish Harlem, yes. Yes, it does.
I should give them a call.
Yeah, I'll write the details down on one of these sticky notes. Here you go.
And then I can use it again.
Perhaps you could lead a raid in World of Warcraft when we don't have more pressing concerns?
As it happens, I'm just looking to see if I can find any specialist auto shops where they build high-end custom cars.
Oh. Gee, I wish I hadn't been a jerk about it now.
Why should this be any different?
Find anything?
How do you feel about pink Cadillacs?
Nauseous.
There's a place out in Bedford Hills that might do the sort of thing you need.
Bedford Hills? Isn't there anywhere closer?
Dude, you can fly.
Right. I keep forgetting that.
I'll write down the number for you. Here.
Alright. Let's click on some things here.
My passport is a bold reminder of my American heritage.
Khan?
What, old friend?
Khan. It says mother's maiden name, Khan. Was your mother from Bangladesh?
It's a misprint. You know how unreliable stenographers can be. It's meant to be Cohen. She was Jewish.
First name, Rupa. That's not a very Jewish name.
Ruth! It's meant to be Ruth! It's a...
Misprint, right.
I have a few photos already on this camera, but there's still plenty of room on the SD card for more.
Oh yes, been recording ourselves in flagrante delicto, have we?
No, the holiday snaps from Italy are on my USB stick. It contains contact details for Reel 'em, Sell It, and Run. Realtors. Mel found them for me.
I can be very helpful when I like. I just don't like very often.
It's a piece of paper with the number for Cut, Shut, and Pray Auto Shop. Mel researched it for me.
The websites for these auto shops can be pretty samey, so I just picked one that sounded reliable.
Alright, so now go here. You can take this and phone.
I'll call that auto shop to see if they can put together a Patriot mobile for me.
Remember to ask for back seats. Superhero vehicles never have back seats in them. And frankly, what's the point of spending all that money on a high-tech car if you can't use it to pull birds? Am I right?
Melvin, the Patriot mobile is in many ways the public face of the Purple Patriot. I can't have that image sullied by having you plastered all over the tabloids with cheap floozies.
Fair enough. I wouldn't want to sully the Purple Patriot name. Frankly, I wasn't even aware it was possible to sully the Purple Patriot name.
Good day, shopkeep. I am in the market for a fine automobile. Well, I'm looking for something capable of waging war on the streets of New York. It needs to be able to withstand a small nuclear explosion, yet still be capable of maiming anyone who dares incur my wrath. On the other hand, I want something that feels dangerous. Something that makes me feel like every moment could be my last moment on Earth. It needs to be so big that it blocks out the sun, and it should make me feel like a god of the road, crushing all who oppose me. No, I don't think that would do much for my image.
What did he suggest?
An SUV. No, I'm looking for something custom-made, really. Do you think you could create something awe-inspiring for me? I see. Well, thank you anyway. Good day.
Why can't they help?
Apparently, they already have as many custom jobs as the garage can handle. They've just signed a contract to keep Amanda Bynes in new cars.
Okay. Let's do this one then.
I'll call the real estate agent to see if they have any properties which would be suitable as a crime cave.
Perhaps don't use the word crime cave in the conversation. Tell them you need somewhere to run a data centre, and it needs to be underground for temperature control purposes.
Good thinking. Do you have any commercial properties suitable for a data center? Underground would be ideal so that we can keep the computers cool. Well, security is a big concern for us, so we were hoping for somewhere far from civilization. No, not that far from civilization.
What did he suggest?
New Jersey. Servers? Mainframes? What the hell are you talking about?
Data centre, remember?
Oh, right. Servers and mainframes, yes. About 60,000 of them.
Too many.
On second thought, maybe just 3. We'll start small and build our way up. He didn't have anything.
You do surprise me.
Well,
What interesting morsel are you researching for us this time, old buddy?
Nothing. I was just going to have a quick game of Journey.
Dear God, even the games you play are smug and superior. What's so wrong with the game where American soldiers tour the world killing foreigners for oil?
I like games to be a break from reality.
well, I guess we're gonna start on our adventure.
No thanks. I never get the flavors I like best.
For the last time, it is not a gumball machine.
That fire escape is in poor repair and could easily cause injury. I have no choice but to bring this matter to the attention of City Hall.
While you're at it, be sure to ask them their views on knocking down a load-bearing wall so that you have room for a Bamatron Behemoth 400-litre fridge in the kitchen.
On reflection, perhaps I should make a conscious effort not to intervene in the affairs of others so much. I don't have any change.
Can you even carry change around when you wear tights?
I can, but it leaves an imprint of JFK's head somewhere I'd rather not talk about.
Alright, well, I think that's all we can do here. True Believers. That's gotta be a reference to Stan Lee, right? Alright, we're gonna go to the TV studio first and get our money. That seems to be like the big thing they're saying.
I wonder why these benches are all empty. Most places it's hard to find a spare seat around lunchtime.
People are probably afraid the benches flip over, dropping them into a basement where they're handcuffed and forced to appear on new episodes of Extreme Couponing.
That's very specific.
It's nice to get a spot of shade in New York.
Walking around next to you, I've always got a spot of shade.
Ugh, this appears to be yet another horrid, tasteless reality show. Not quite as bad as that Date Dr. Doom show, though.
You mean Mr. Personality?
That's the one. This is disgusting.
I'm agnostic, but even I find this to be in pretty bad taste.
I know, right? None of these girls look like good Roman Catholic girls.
Jesus was Jewish, mate.
I guess that explains why he lived with his parents till he was 30.
Dear God. This game.
In some ways, those revolving doors are a melancholy analogy for the fleeting fame for which the reality television industry has become infamous.
You know, sometimes you can be surprisingly deep. Not often, mind you.
Reality television just hit a new low, old chum.
You say that, but I just know that one of the reality show moguls is working on a show involving O.J. Simpson, Oscar Pistorius and Phil Spector, battling it out for the chance to win a Beretta and a 30-minute head start.
Dude, this thing would be perfect for the flat. You know how much I love kitsch memorabilia.
I also know how fond you are of hookers and anything you can avoid paying for, but we are not carrying this around with us all day.
You can actually win awards for reality television? What is the world coming to, old friend?
Yeah, some strive to win a Tony and some are over the moon with an Emmy, but you know you've made it when you win a Skanky.
I'm confused, old friend. Is this a show where people date dogs or a show where people find doggy dates for their own dogs?
Is there any possible answer to that question which is going to make this show any more or less creepy?
I know I'm going to earn your eternal contempt for even saying this, but I find that crashes are the most exciting part of NASCAR.
On the contrary, even I'm praying for a crash by the time I've watched someone drive round in a circle 197 times.
You continue to surprise me, old chum.
In fact, I wouldn't be against making basketball nets out of barbed wire or replacing baseballs with hand grenades. What is it with America and tedious sports?
Says the guy whose country invented cricket.
Yes, but we only invented that so we'd have a sport so tedious that no one else could beat us at it. And even that didn't last long.
I think it's the receptionist from the audition.
Really? She doesn't look familiar to me.
Good day to you, miss.
It's not a good day. I don't have good days anymore, thanks to you.
Excuse me? I think you must be confusing me with someone else.
I find it hard to believe that this is the first time a woman has developed a pathological hatred for you.
No, plenty have. It's just that they usually have to date him first.
I have an idea for a reality TV show.
I'm paid to hear whatever suggestions you might have, but I don't have to listen.
How dirty is your daughter? I have another.
Just so you know, every idea you suggest automatically becomes the copyright of the studio.
50 most dangerous rednecks. I I have another idea.
Please go on. I'm hanging on your every word.
Charm School with Chris Rock.
I'm just gonna keep doing this because I'm sure it's gonna give me an achievement.
I have another. America's Next Top Hooker. I have a curb crawling with the stars. I have a who not to eat. I have a celebrity intervention. I have who wants to marry their sister. World's wildest Chevy Chase answer phone messages. I have when trolls attack. I have Republicans say the funniest things. The Real Housewives of French Camp, Mississippi. Meet my 3 wives. Queer girl for the straight guy. I have extreme celebrity enema.
There's so many.
So you think you can yodel. I have another.
Please go on. I'm hanging on your every word.
Charm School with.
Okay.
I believe you have a check with my name on it.
I don't know anything about that.
Have you still got Stefan's number, mate? Maybe he knows something about it.
Okay, I know about the check.
Fantastic. Do I have to sign somewhere?
Not so fast. I need your hospital discharge form.
You never told me you had a discharge. Must have caught it from that art student you were seeing.
I think she means the papers to prove they released me from the hospital.
You haven't been discharged.
Don't worry. I'll charm my way past her. I could charm the scales off a snake.
Yeah, it's just a shame your charm skills haven't transferred over to the human genus.
Miss, did they just take you out of the oven? Because you look hot!
Stick some ice cubes down your pants, Romeo. Any excuse I can find to stop you getting that check, I'm taking it. Now, do you have the discharge papers or not?
Yes and no. Mostly no.
Then you ain't getting no check.
That's all for now, miss.
Don't hurry back on my account.
Alright, nothing else to click here. Go to the hospital, the NYPD. We are definitely going to True Believers. This guy is like a mix of... He's definitely Stan Lee, but he's got a little bit of Macho Man Randy Savage thrown in there.
This guy has a cool, relaxed aura that makes me think he owns the place.
He looks like the man that time forgot.
Good day, barkeep.
Hey kids, welcome to True Believers.
Are you the proprietor of this fine establishment?
Oh no, son, I just own the place. The name's Stan.
I see. How did you end up owning a bar for superheroes and their fans?
Well, back in the 70s, I was a superhero, kinda like you.
Really? What happened?
I took a batarang to the knee.
You asked for that.
The temptation to Alt F4 right now.
So, where did you come up with a name like True Believers?
It takes a special kind of person with a special kind of imagination to believe in superheroes and supervillains. Only people like that are welcome here.
Sure. What business wouldn't benefit from banning everyone who's not gullible?
We'd like to order a couple of drinks.
Oh, sure, boys. What can I get you?
I'll have a rum and milk. What about you, mate?
I'll have something fruity. And I don't mean that freak in the corner. We should be going. I can't be seen hanging around bars all day. I have an image to uphold.
Sure, boys. Come back anytime. We're always open, thanks to New York's high tolerance for alcohol dependency.
You're trying to uphold your image?
Of course, old friend.
Talk about setting your sights low.
This looks like it might be useful.
What for?
I don't know. Catching squirrels?
You are a strange, strange man.
It's a cork board with various leaflets and postcards pinned to it.
Room to let. Billionaire industrialist and philanthropist seeks supple teenage male for mansion share. Plenty of scope for advancement. Must have own leotard. Orphan preferred.
What the hell is that?
It's that contestant from the audition. I don't think he'd picked a name last we saw him.
I've never met that thing before. If I'd met some kind of abomination like that, I'd remember it.
You know, when you were Kyle, you had an intellect rivaled only by root vegetables, but at least you were a kind idiot. The new you has a personality only a conservative radio host could love.
There is no Kyle. He's just a character I created. He's my mild-mannered alter ego.
Mild-mannered? You must never have heard that boy fart the national anthem. Sometimes he even used to get a box of matches out to do the Rocket's red glare.
Hey, Purple Pants! Come to celebrate your big win at the talent contest? Let me buy you a drink.
I don't drink with freaks like you.
Ooh, what's got your panties in a bunch?
A real man's underwear is supposed to have a bunch in it. We haven't all had things cut off or sellotaped to something else. Like you.
Pay him no mind. He's been watching right-wing news all morning. It does funny things to him.
I know exactly what you mean. Brett Baer is my kind of guy.
What are you doing in here?
You mean what's a nice boy like me doing in a bar like this, you sweet talker?
Listen, you affront to God. I'm more likely to beat you down than chat you up.
Normally, I don't do the submissive thing. I'm more of a dom than a sub in private, but for you, I might make an exception.
I think the big guy was just generally curious, nay, wondering, what brought you to True Believers?
It's the place to be seen for superheroes and supervillains, you know. For those of us who haven't cracked it yet, this is our chance to mingle with superhero royalty.
So have you got a name yet?
It's harder than it sounds. All the good names are already taken.
We can't keep calling you the flamboyant superhero. We have to call you something.
It would take me a long time to run out of things to call him.
I was looking for something which wouldn't qualify as a hate crime.
I'm off for a spot of badger baiting or perhaps to rebuild a motorcycle engine.
Good for you, perps. You keep overcompensating.
I can't just go taking everything I see without permission. I have to uphold the law and set a good example.
Plus, the NYPD have been keeping tabs on you since that man-sized ice cream cone disappeared from outside Gelato's R Us.
That too.
Well, let's speak to Stan and maybe we can pick up the bag.
Where did this bag come from?
Oh, that's one of the bags that I use to bring change from the bank. I have to keep a lot of change around here, as our patrons are always using the condom machines.
So it's true then? Alcohol really does make men more attractive to women?
No, but it sure does make ugly men more optimistic.
Mind if I have the bag?
Sure, I can tell your cause is noble.
Thank you, sir. How did he know my cause was noble?
He probably assumed you were going to put it over your head.
We should be going. I can't.
Sure, boys.
So, just a small detail, and this is just because I'm an audio head. Everyone sounds like they belong here except Stan. He's like some guy who they recorded like later, and he like really altered his voice to make me sound like that. I guess we'll go to the precinct and see if we can get our license.
It's a public phone booth.
Who needs public phones anymore? Seems like everyone carries at least 2 mobiles, a smartphone with 1,000 apps, and a standard mobile to make phone calls when the smartphone either freezes, runs out of batteries, or locks you out because your thumbprint doesn't match.
Well, they're really just intended for emergencies.
Presumably for people whose legs have been broken and can't walk the 6 yards to the police station.
It's not ringing.
That doesn't stop you picking up the phone in the apartment every 5 minutes.
I'm expecting a call from that girl I went on a date with.
Mate, she is not gonna call you.
She's probably waiting for me to make the first move.
That's not typically the intended message when someone takes out a restraining order.
I don't really need to call anyone right now, which might be just as well. I don't have any quarters, and I doubt this thing has worked since the Reagan administration.
Neither of you.
Do you think this squad car belongs to Lieutenant Griffith?
I don't think so, mate. Hers is the one with the red stains on the front bumper.
I mean, that's cool.
This year they picked 12 officers from the 5 boroughs to model for the calendar. All proceeds go to the NYPD Widows and Orphans charity.
Where do I buy one, old friend? This is exactly the sort of cause we should be supporting.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy one if I were you.
Of course you wouldn't. You despise law enforcement and the military. You liberal types spit on anyone brave enough to risk their lives defending this country.
Actually, it was just the fact that it says to make all checks payable to McGinty's bar that put me off. But don't let me stop you mid-diatribe. I can see Sam's Lexus in the parking lot.
I'd have more respect for Lieutenant Griffith if she drove an American car.
She bought that new Chrysler about 6 months ago. You must remember. She had it delivered directly to the precinct.
I don't remember seeing her drive it.
You wouldn't have done. It broke down while they were getting it off the transporter.
American cars.
This notice board contains an assortment of notices and reports on a wide range of NYPD-related subjects. There's everything from a softball team roster through to a 30-year-old E-fit.
A 30-year-old E-fit? The NYPD never give up once they have the evidence on you, do they?
They're a pretty tenacious lot, that's for sure. I wonder what the statute of limitations is on unlawfully concealing a will. It's the door to one of the holding cells.
No, it's not. That's your tech room and my janitor's closet in there.
Oh, that's right. It just feels like jail.
I am not doing any janitorial work today.
Plus, Sam might think it was a bit odd if the Purple Patriot went into the janitor's closet and then started mopping the floors.
Good point. That's women's work.
This desk belongs to Sam.
She should have her own office somewhere. You only get respect from people by exercising your authority and making them fear you. All this one of the people bunk just lets people know you're weak and gives them an opportunity to usurp you.
Where do you come up with this drivel, mate? Are you reading the memoirs of Robespierre at bedtime or something?
It's merely life experience, old friend. I win the respect of my colleagues by instilling in them a healthy sense of fear. Why else do you think I'm the undisputed leader of the Supreme League of Patriots?
Because you beat me 2 out of 3 at rock, paper, scissors.
Well, that's the first time he's actually said that, which is kind of weird.
That's Sam. She's a lieutenant with the NYPD, and the only person in the department who attempts to hide her disdain for us.
She has a body like a movie star. She's the kind of woman I've always wanted to date.
You've dated women with movie star bodies before, mate. Well, you dated that girl with a face like Rin Tin Tin anyway. Perhaps I should stay over here. She might put 2 and 2 together about your identity if she sees us together.
Nonsense, trusted sidekick. A disguise like this would fool even the most eagle-eyed of observers.
Well, you do have that scrap of material around your eyes. I don't think I could recognise my own father without seeing the area just around his eyes.
Well, he does wear a lot of glittery mascara for a man. Greetings, fellow law defender.
Well, if it isn't the Purple Patriot.
I'm sorry, miss. Have we met?
No, but you're famous now.
Of course!
Well, Purple Patriot, my name is Lieutenant Griffith. Is there something I can help you with?
In case if you don't remember or didn't see it and somebody's actually watching this live, she's a superhero that we saw at the end of towards the end of the last chapter, and she instantly knew he was Kyle. So she's actually, but she also said she hated superheroes when you first talked to her in the office before you see her as a superhero. So this is kind of an interesting way she's treating us. But
I'm famous. I guess you can't make it big on America's Got Superpowers without making the local news. Or was it the national news? I've been off the radar for a few days.
No, not that. The video of you being wanged on the head with a studio light has 3 million hits on YouTube.
Fame is a fickle mistress, perhaps best left uncourted.
Hello, Melvin. What's an ACLU flag waver like you doing trailing around with a hawkish firebrand like the Purple Patriot?
What? I can't have new friends? Just because Kyle's not around, you immediately assume my new friend is him in disguise?
No, it's just that the Purple Patriot is a well-known right thinker in every sense of the phrase. Whereas you're really more of the radical socialist, decaffeinated, environmentally friendly liberal brigade.
Beneath that veneer of contempt and disgust, I know you secretly hate my guts. I expect you're wondering where Kyle is.
Of course not. He's none of my concern.
Well, he's sick in bed. He's really not feeling himself.
He really must be sick. You normally have to ask him to stop.
I've come to register as an official Manhattan superhero.
I can do that. But you'll need to fill out this form, and I'll need your supporting documents, too.
Supporting documents?
Yeah, I'll need your vehicle registration document, a copy of the deed for your crime cave, and a signed statement from a New York citizen that you helped.
Yikes. I didn't need that much paperwork when I imported those vials of the tularemia pathogen.
What?
Private import of diseases is strictly illegal, Melvin.
That would explain the lack of paperwork.
And why we had to collect them from a lockup in Poughkeepsie.
Oh.
You want the registration from my shabby Nova?
No, from your crime mobile, whatever name you give it.
Ah, you mean the
Patriot
Patriot
Mobile.
Mobile.
Is that what you call it? Great, we just need the registration document.
I think I left it in my other tights. About the deeds to my crime cave.
What about them?
Well, I think the mortgage lender still has them.
You have a mortgage on your crime cave?
It was a fixer-upper.
A copy will be fine.
Right. Damn it. I didn't really understand what you said about a signed statement from someone I helped.
Oh, of course. I just need a statement, in their own words, from a citizen of New York that you helped.
Nothing really springs to mind.
Will you help Mrs. Johansson carry her groceries upstairs some days?
That's true.
Although that's really only because she wears those tight shorts and the stairwells are so narrow you have to walk up single file.
It would need to be someone you helped in a superhero capacity.
Of course it would. My trusty sidekick here was just kidding. You know how hilarious he and his friend Kyle can be.
Oh, yeah. Their wit is legendary around these offices. Just get one of the people you've helped to write a statement and sign it, and bring it to me when you're done.
Lieutenant Griffith, I would like to submit my application form now.
Do you have your supporting documents?
Ah, yes, the supporting documents. Any chance we could skip those just this one time?
I'd like to help you. Really, I would. The world could use a few more superheroes with a sense of patriotism, but my hands are tied.
That's funny, because you used to have that dream where her hands were tied.
We'll be back presently, Lieutenant.
Okay. Alright. Let's take a look at this real quick.
It's the application form I need to submit in order to get my license. Filling it out will be a breeze.
Says the only man ever to fail to correctly fill out the Bunty's Burgers customer satisfaction survey.
Don't be so cruel. That survey was more complicated than it looked.
It only had one question. Did you enjoy your burger? Yes or no?
I keep telling you I had a hanging Chad!
And, oh yeah, in the back.
This looks like it might be useful. I don't know.
Okay, that's just alright. So I think the next thing to do is to go to the hospital and see if we can get our forms, because I think we need money before we can do anything else.
There's a curtain pulled all around this bed. The patient must have a communicable disease.
Either that or the art budget wouldn't stretch to another character.
I don't really need a curtain.
That's true. You're already wearing a pair.
I just get the feeling that I really shouldn't pull the curtain.
I'm with you on this one. It could be a real Wizard of Oz moment.
What's in these things?
A low concentration solution of salt in water.
Hey, we can make saltwater taffy.
No, mate, there's no salt water in taffy.
But there must be. They call it saltwater taffy.
They call it I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, but there's no celebrities in it.
Can't argue with that. I have no use for it.
I'm sick of this. Why should you be unable or unwilling to take something just because it's not yours and you don't have a need for it? When did kleptomania become taboo?
You know, you're right. The hell with rules. I'm taking it anyway.
Attaboy. That's the kind of selfish, unreasoned, unilateral thinking which made this country great.
I'm not really thirsty just now.
You drink water? Pah! I don't think I've ever seen you drink anything with a lower GI index than corn syrup. My mild OCD would prevent me from using this sink.
I can't imagine why.
When I think of all the things that the hands which used this sink were doing or touching immediately before they touched this sink, I can feel myself reaching for a wipe.
I don't need to wash my hands.
If I had $1 for every time I've heard you say that. Hey look, it's that woman that repeatedly tried to kill you.
You're going to have to be more specific than that, my friend.
Not one of your psychotic exes, the nurse from the theatre.
Good day, Nurse Julie.
What are you doing out of bed?
Those paralytics you gave him wore off.
I can assure you that none of our patients are given unnecessary drugs.
Yeah, I assure you.
Furthermore, all of our patients are free to come and go as they please.
I'm feeling much better, nurse. I'd like to discharge myself.
I'll fetch your bedpan.
I'm sorry, but you're not permitted to leave.
What happened to all of our patients are free to come and go as they please?
We can't stop you from leaving, but we can refuse to sign your discharge papers if we believe you're not sufficiently recovered to leave our care.
Is there any practical difference between discharged and wandering freely without permission?
Of course. If you're not officially discharged, we can still claim from your insurance company.
Right. Follow the money, Melvin. Always the money.
Is there a patient behind the curtain?
That's Mr. Zimmerman. He's got an ingrown toenail.
That's not very serious, and it's certainly not contagious. Why does he need the curtain?
Shh! He's very short-sighted, and he's paying for a private room.
What's with all these drip bags? You've only got one patient.
I fail to see how it's any of your concern. But the patient behind the curtain has a pituitary gland disorder, which is causing the most severe hyperhidrosis I've ever seen.
You speak nerd, old chum. What's the mistress of morbidity here banging on about now?
In terms you can understand, she's got Sweaty McPhee behind that curtain, and he's going through saline solution faster than you go through hemorrhoid cream.
Nurse, you saw me in action as a superhero during my audition. Would you give me an endorsement for my superhero license?
I'm sorry, but that wouldn't be ethical.
Because you worked for the studio, you mean? Or because I'm your patient?
Or because he's been a bit of an arse ever since he got wanged on the head.
No, I mean, you didn't actually use your powers to help me. In fact, I used my powers to help you.
So, if I did use my powers to help you somehow, you would give me an endorsement for my license?
Sure, I guess.
I'm feeling.
Okay, that's the same.
Of course.
I was just wondering if you needed a superhero for anything.
What would I need a superhero for?
Has a malevolent Norse god set up shop in the pharmacy?
I don't think so.
Perhaps an exiled cosmic entity is causing havoc in ear, nose, and throat?
No one's mentioned it.
I see.
You can help me empty the bedpans if you like.
Ha! Good luck with that. I'm lucky if I can get him to flush his own waste.
I've taken up enough of your time.
Oh, don't worry. I'm billing you per identity.
This is one of those we probably gotta speak to Mel.
Huddle time, Melvin.
You know, these huddles would be a lot more fun if our group had some female members.
As would the weekly saunas, old friend. But we have to make do with what we have. Lieutenant Griffith won't give me the license until I have a signed statement from someone I helped.
What about Mrs. Johansson?
No, a real endorsement for some great superhero deed.
Well, you know what that means, don't you?
What?
It means you're screwed, mate.
I need help, The Alterna Freak nurse won't discharge me.
I don't think she wants to lose your insurance payouts.
I'm more concerned that she'll want to euthanize me again.
Good point. We don't need any more women trying to kill you. You've already got the entire cast of loose women after you.
What can I do, though? I don't think she's going to accept medical reasons.
Well, if she's only interested in your insurance money, you'll just have to find a way to cost her more money than she's making from you.
The
Okay.
I called that auto shop in Bedford Hills about a Patriot mobile, but they won't be able to get it done quick enough.
Couldn't they suggest anything?
They said I should consider a pre-owned model.
Let's hope it didn't come with an online pass, or you'll have to pay extra.
Now what are you blathering about?
Never mind, nerdy thing. Well, there's that bar where a lot of superheroes supposedly hang out. I think it's called True Believers. You should ask there.
Okay.
I just get the feeling.
I'm with you on this.
Alright, we'll go back to the bar. At least we can get some ammo weed.
You just couldn't stay.
My therapist tells me I need to face my fears. Have you foiled any heinous crimes recently?
Well, I did stop a man who was wearing socks and sandals and put him straight. Forgive the pun. Other than that, things have been pretty slow.
Not fashion crimes, you pinhead prima donna! I'm talking about vicious felons like drug pushers, purse snatchers, and jaywalkers.
Doop, doop, doop.
He's got a point. If you want to strike a blow for LGBT rights, you're going to have to do more than just stop people mixing stripes with spots.
I guess you're right, but I don't really know where to start. Do you have any ideas?
Well, we did meet a former KGB assassin while we were at the auditions.
Oh my, that big scary looking boy with the steely gaze, the fearsome triceps, the thick Russian accent, and the tattoo of a hammer and sickle somewhere intimate.
It's always the ones you least suspect, isn't it?
He admitted he killed people when he was in the KGB, and he admitted enjoying it too.
Perhaps I should leave this for a more well-established superhero with experience of capturing such dangerous villains.
Are you telling me you've never dragged a big strapping man somewhere quiet and tied him up?
Oh, you. But seriously, I think I should start with a less dangerous opponent for my first arrest.
Sissy. As it happens, I do know of this nurse who's trying to bump off all her patients.
She even tried to whack the big fella here, but sadly she just turned him into a white conservative's wet dream instead.
I have no idea why you keep saying that.
Do you have any proof of what she's doing? I couldn't just take action without any evidence.
You were there when she was poking those drugs down my throat? You saw what she was trying to do.
Oh sure, but that could have just been unforeseen side effects. Have you got any proof of her intentionally harming a patient?
You're absolutely right. I've spent so much time with Captain Impetuous here, who thinks evidence is a dirty word, much like tolerance, that I wasn't thinking.
Namby-pamby, wishy-washy superheroes with all their rules and morals. We'll get you your precious evidence. I have it on good authority that the proprietor of this establishment waters down the beer.
Honey, look at my calves. Do I look like a beer drinker to you?
Who cares what you're drinking, you porno-partaking pansy? It's a perfectly good excuse to arrest someone, and maybe rough him up a bit on the way to the police station. Isn't that what we're all in the superhero game for?
I don't know. It's a pretty minor offense. Doesn't really seem like something which would require a superhero.
Did we mention that he's not watering it down with water?
Yeah, haven't you noticed that he never needs to go for a bathroom break? Every time he gets cut short, he just waters down another keg.
Oh, you guys are just too much. You really had me going there for a second.
I've got better things to do than help turn you into a real man.
Don't make promises you can't keep, Purple Pants.
I'm off for a spot of badger baiting.
Okay. So we have a slight lead.
I just...
Oh.
It's...
Just trying a couple different things here.
What's in the... Hey.
The music.
Are you...
No, I'm just ordering more sedatives and antidepressants. We get through such a lot.
Gee, I wonder why that is.
Is there...
That's Mr.
Where to go next? guess we're just gonna go around and talk to everybody and see if something comes up. Because that seems to be what happens with this game. Chicken.
Please, ma'am, tell me what I did to offend you. Maybe I can put things right.
Tell you what you did? You can't have forgotten what you did to me at the auditions already.
I told you she was the receptionist at the auditions.
Yeah, points to you, mate. I didn't recognise her with her skirt down.
You flooded the toilets and left me to clean up after you. You gave that sleazy slimeball Kirk my telephone number. He thinks I'm crazy about him. You got me demoted to this dead-end job when Stefan found out that I helped you blackmail him. You got my audition for America's Next Singing Sensation cancelled when you blew my skirt up and made me flash my chihuahua in front of all the cameras.
We couldn't possibly have known you were going to remove your underwear to cool down.
Of course you could have known. You were the bandidos who broke the thermostat to make the theater so unbearably hot.
Can I get an endorsement?
In order to get my superhero license, I need an endorsement from a member of the public. Just a paragraph about the kind of guy I am and how I changed your life. Do you think you could help me?
I'd be happy to write an account of everything you've done for me. A detailed account.
Well, that's really very kind of you, miss.
You misspelled misogynist.
Oh, thank you. How many E's in reprehensible?
4.
You know, I'm beginning to suspect that.
Yours sincerely or faithfully?
Yours faithfully when the greeting is impersonal, but given how many times you've dropped the F-bomb, emphatically feels more appropriate.
You know, I think you're right.
Mel's helping her.
I'm going to leave it. Thanks all the same.
Suit yourself is right here if you change your mind.
That's all.
Purple Patriot? Nice.
I think I've turned invisible again.
If only you could manage mute as well.
Couldn't you write me an endorsement? It would carry more weight if it came from a police officer.
I'd love to help in any way I can, but if I signed your endorsement, your application would be rejected.
Really? Are you that unpopular among your colleagues?
No, I mean it would be rejected because it's a conflict of interest. I have to be impartial, even if I'm secretly rooting for you.
That's nice of her. Alright, let me go back here.
No. I am.
Let's go back to the apartment then. Maybe there's something there. We might have to talk to Mel more. I thought I exhausted those options.
It's my show of support for the 99%. Before he had his breakdown, Kyle was a big supporter too. Well, I say supporter, He didn't actually attend a protest, organise support, or help logistically. Come to think of it, perhaps well-wisher would be a better description. Kyle's one of those people who tends towards a more passive form of support. At least he was before he went all Dr. Evil on us.
Occupy Wall Street? How about occupy a bath? Bunch of smelly hippies.
What are you talking about? Not one of the protesters is over 80. They're too young to be hippies. The only reason hippies are even called hippies anymore is because they've all got hip replacements these days.
Of course they're hippies. Bunch of drug-taking...
Drugs? Hippies don't take LSD anymore, mate. These days it's Synatogen or Viagra.
They're just a bunch of work-shy bums who expect government to give them all handouts. Government can't afford to give handouts to people who refuse to work.
Of course not. They gave them all to Wall Street.
And all that free love.
That's what's really bothering you, innit? Someone's getting a bit and it's not you.
Oh, dang.
What?
Went through all that and then forgot if there was more to it or not.
It says here that former boy band star Anthony Costa from Blue hit such hard times after the group split up that he had to declare bankruptcy.
At least his coffee business seems to be doing well these days.
I don't Oh.
Alright, we might as well just talk to Mel, because I got nothing else.
What's my most pressing object?
At the risk of sounding mercenary, I'd say you need to get your
What? Yes, money does.
Unavoidable consequence.
I thought... The old...
What?
The old... You know, you said that I should cost Nurse Julie a lot of money so she'll...
That sounds like the kind of intelligent advice I would give.
Oh.
I can't think of anything.
Well, she keeps taking those saline drip bags behind the curtain to a patient. Maybe if you replaced one of those bags with something less benign, it might spark a lawsuit or three.
Ooh, I have an idea. Alright, so the only thing I can think of, less benign, go to the bar. I think we just talked to Snake.
We should... It seems a shame to waste the contents of this bag.
What would you suggest? Take it home and keep hot dog sausages in it?
What's in these things?
Oh, okay, now it's empty. Now we go to the bar. Maybe not.
What's in these things? What? You know, you said that I
Well, she keeps taking those saline drip bags behind the curtain to a patient. Maybe if you replaced one of those bags with something less benign...
Something less benign.
What?
It's my...
Not a I found these while rummaging through some of the dusty boxes in the back room at Crazy Cole's comic book store. It's about an 18th century aristocrat who moonlights as an avenging superhero, stalking the mean streets of Swindon.
You paid $10 an issue for these?
Actually, no. By an extraordinary stroke of luck, they were accidentally misfiled in the Any 50 Issues for 10 cents box. I can't get changed.
Plus...
We should really start... You remember that death fetish nurse who tried to kill me?
To most people, that would be a strange opening to a conversation, but it's been that kind of month. Please go on.
Suppose, for argument's sake, I was trying to frame her for a crime so that I could persuade a naive superhero to attack her.
You're supposed to be a superhero, a role model for crying out loud. You can't frame someone for something they haven't done.
By God, you're right! I've been going completely down the wrong track here.
Oh, so you can hear me over the voices in your head.
It'll be much easier to frame her for something I did!
I'm literally getting acid reflux, so righteous is my indignation.
Now, if I can just think of something I've done that I could pass off as the work of that morose nurse. Perhaps a patient who suffered needlessly? Thanks, old friend. Always good to get your take on things. I called that auto shop and...
Never mind.
What interesting
Nothing.
Ugh. I'm running out of ideas here, people. I'm going to call it.
Do you think... I don't...
Have you thought of something to put in that drip bag yet? Nothing dangerous, obviously. Maybe just something brightly coloured to frighten her.
I am... good.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Yep. Alright. Alright. That'll be good. Bye. Alright.
This notice...
A 30...
There are...
I wonder...
It's gotta be the drink, right? Like... It won't let me click on it. So I don't know what to do. See, look, bright and colorful, like you said. Wouldn't that be, like, exactly what he was saying? Alright, well, I'm out of ideas. For all I know, maybe it's bugged and I'm supposed to, but maybe I'm not and I'm just stupid. But I'm gonna call it here. I've been playing for quite a while, so what?
Have you thought of something to put in that drip bag yet?
Yeah. Okay. Save game. There it is. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.